I said that one of the biggest mistakes I made was believing in God while loving and trusting someone who didn't, who said they didn't, who lost their faith. I posted this on Facebook. Somebody came in my comment section and they said, is it that you are realizing that a man who submits to God by default puts you in a place of protection? And I'm like, no, that's not. I'm sorry, that's your takeaway, but no, that's not what I was thinking. It's not that I didn't know that a man submitting to God gives me a sense of protection by default because I'm dealing with a man of God. I always knew that dealing with a man of God would bring that to me regardless. I'm going to be protected anyway with me having my faith in God by itself, right? My issue was that I thought I could pray for this man, for his healing, and help him restore his faith in a higher power. Always encourage him to believe in the universe. If you're not going to believe in a specific religion, still have a level of spirituality, still have respect for a power that's higher than your own. And that's the mistake that I made, believing that I could restore his faith and encourage him to pray and meditate, and that will, help him have a better relationship with his higher power. Now, I explained that to this person and they ended up responding, and I'm going to read to you their response. And of course, it's a passport, bro. That's a whole nother, Lord. That was the mistake right there. You want him to believe something, you're not even solid on yourself. You want him more than you want God. That's your takeaway? That's your takeaway? Sometimes I feel like people are stupid for stupid's sake, or they want to say the dumbest thing to try to provoke you. Like, I set the boundary when we're talking about God. Like, I let people know, I have a strong belief in God. Like, don't play with that. Like, we can talk about anything else. Just don't play with that, and don't be talking about autism because my son got autism. That's where I crossed the line on social media. I just block people. I don't argue with them. That be it for me. That's it for me. But I just don't understand how someone could believe that I wanted a man more than I want God when I'm praying to God for that man. If I wanted the man more than I wanted God, I wouldn't even be bringing God into the picture. I used to hate that I would have to explain my spiritual union with my son's father. Like, I would have to try to explain to people what a spiritual husband was, because they would mock it, they would miscategorize it, or they would define it into being something that it wasn't. And when you are a person that has faith in a higher power, or you have faith in God, or whatever religion you are in, and you try to explain to people your belief system or the rituals or things you do inside of your belief system, and they are non-believers themselves, or they're soulless, or whatever the case is, it begins to be tedious. It's like, why would I sit here and try to explain something to someone who is committed to misunderstanding? Like, regardless to what I say, you have already made up in your mind that what I'm trying to explain to you is something that you can't intellectually accept. I will never put a man before God. Not ever. I've been celibate for 6 years. My son's father was the last man I was with. And I think I tried to date somebody about 2 years ago, a childhood friend of mine, and that didn't work out. And I'm not anxious to build a spiritual bond or a soul tie with another man, because it took everything in me to break that soul tie and to build my spirit back, because my situation with him broke my spirit. A lot of people have a different perspective of that relationship, and I don't expect them to understand my personal life. I can only share my stories with you, and your perception of reality isn't my responsibility, so I can only just share it with you. There's nothing else I can do after that. What's important is that as a woman of God, a woman who has faith, a woman who believes in a higher power, you are never to put yourself in a position with a man who is struggling with his faith, because you are asking for an issue. You are asking for problems. Stay away from men who are struggling with their faith. Only deal with men who have respect for a higher power, who have submitted to God. And I don't mean go date a pastor, go date a minister, go date a man who claims he a Christian. I mean men who have literally submitted themselves, because just because they say they are those things doesn't mean they have fully submitted.